Hi everybody, Jennifer Blevins-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today, I want to talk about the importance of going to conferences. This might not be in your budget if you're just starting up or if you've only been operating for a year or two, but I encourage you to try and put it in your spending budget every year to go to professional conferences. This is important not only for you and other providers in your office, but it's also important for your management or your manager, your billing specialist or coding specialist, and maybe your medical assistants or nurses to go to their respective kind of topic conferences as well. The importance of going to conferences is because it will help you stay up to date on the changes that are ever going on in medicine. Usually they'll talk about ongoing trends, any kind of themes that people are seeing in billing audits, any billing changes, requirements that CMS might be putting forward, any big payer changes, anything that might go with your professional liability coverage, your CMEs. And you also do get CMEs, you get continuing education or CEUs for attending. I know you get a lot of them, and that's usually nice because you have to recertify and submit that you've done that every so often depending on what your licensure or certification is. And they have different types of CEUs or CMEs. So some are conferences, some can be reading journals and answering questions and submissions. And so you just want to make sure that you're balancing it out, but that you're being able to keep up with the times, if you will. There is the MGMA, which is for managers and doctors, which is super helpful. And if you could join the MGMA, I think you get a discount on their conference fee. The nice thing is usually you get a trip out of it, which is kind of awesome, and it is tax deductible, I believe, so that's another benefit. But keeping up and knowing the changes that are going to be in your field or your specialty is definitely a benefit. I know that like my colleagues used to go to the allergy conferences, and that's where they would find out if insurances were going to start requiring prior auths for certain services or referrals for certain things, or if they were going to stop covering a CPT code altogether, or they brought up the fact that it looked like there were all allergists basically being audited by Blue Cross Blue Shield or United Healthcare, one of the biggest payers. For like a whole year, they were like focusing on just auditing allergists. And then it's like the next year they focus on another specialty. But it's where you can also network with your colleagues, and you can, get to know people around the country and maybe get ideas for your practice and how they do things, and maybe that would work for you. Or maybe if they're having the same struggles as you guys can talk about it and maybe come to a solution together. Perhaps you can come up with different treatment ideas for patients. Or if they're handling a certain situation in their practice that has been an issue and they're troubleshooting it and it seems to go well, then maybe you can stay in contact with them and follow and see how it goes, and then maybe you would want to eventually implement it. Staying in contact with them so that you guys can go back and forth and throw things off one another now that you have someone who understands the pains of whatever you go through. It's so beneficial, and it's definitely, in my opinion, something that is highly undervalued and underutilized. And it seems like it's always the same providers that go because they understand how important they are, but they don't understand that maybe sending their staff is also important. So I would try to budget not only for yourself, but maybe to help pay for your staff to go and encourage your staff to go. Especially for billing and coding or management, because things are always changing with those as well, and those conferences specifically focus on that area the whole time. Where if you go to maybe a medical conference, it's going to be more about treatment and evaluations and upcoming, trials or something. But if it's something to do with like just the American Medical Association, they're going to have a little bit of everything. So being able to send people to their focused department and specialized areas is always a benefit. And maybe they don't need to go every year. Maybe it's every other year or every 3 years you feel is beneficial. But definitely make sure that you can put it in the budget and have a conversation with them that maybe it is an expectation that they go and that you will help pay so much towards it, or it will be full expenses if they work for you for a certain amount of time. I mean, you can get creative with that, but it's definitely something I would try to figure out because it can be so beneficial in so many ways. Anyways, if you have any questions about this, or if you have experience with going to conferences yourself or sending staff and you want to share your feedback with your colleagues, please leave that in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, be well, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.